This is getting ridiculous. That's it, point blank, ridiculous. It's not even overanalyzing. It isn't. It's rage baiting. And I'll tell you why it's rage baiting. Because none of the opinions, none of the thoughts, none of the accusation, innuendo, none of them come with a complete opinion. None of it's fully formed. There's a lot left to the imagination, shall we say. I have a series on my main channel, The Football Terrace. If you don't watch The Football Terrace, get across there now and get subscribed. It's where we do a lot of our panel shows, live shows, phone-ins, match reactions. So get across there. You also see it on the homepage of this channel. Hit like buttons as well, please. Get subscribed. Turn on that bell notification button. I've got a series over there called it used to be called The Reaction, where I used to react to things. I've now changed it to Killing the Game. I have a new series called Killing the Game. It's where I think punditry is killing the game of football. Why? Because it is all based in the banter economy. Now, we're all fans of the game. I know pundits are fans as well, but they're pros. We're all fans of the game. And an element of banter, I don't know what the percentage is, 15%, 20%, 25%, makes our game fun. A joke here, a joke there. When you watch CBS and you watch Richards and Carragher and Henry, the fun part is when they kind of banter each other's careers, make little jokes at each other, a little dig about each other's clubs. That makes it fun. But then they get into serious business and talk football. And when it comes to Liverpool, I am sick to my back teeth of hearing they're lucky, they're overrated, without a fully formed opinion connected to it. Because for me, it's just poor. Let's take a little listen here to what's being said in this video. By the way, if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button like I suggest. Let's take a little listen here.
It was a ridiculous game, and Liverpool at the end of the day were incredibly lucky.
Wasn't a ridiculous game last night. By the way, this is all about Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. Liverpool weren't exceedingly lucky, and it wasn't a ridiculous game. But let's continue to listen to what he said.
But I do have to admit that this mentality they have, this determination they have, to never say die, to score late goals like that is quite remarkable.
So it's remarkable they can score late. It's remarkable they have this mentality. You're giving it credit, but at the same time saying it's ridiculous and they're lucky. Not mentioning the fact that the first goal, the equaliser, from Atletico Madrid took a big deflection. Secondly, they hit the post on a couple of occasions and nearly made it 3 and 4. The first goal from Atletico Madrid should have been ruled out for a clear offside, but Liverpool were lucky. Okay, my friend.
It's really special. It shows you a championship-winning mentality. But the big question is, can they continue doing this? Can they maintain scoring late goals?
So first of all, remember what you said there. The question is, can they maintain it? Can they keep scoring late goals? Well, the answer is no. No club is going to win the games it takes to win a Premier League and a Champions League, which is what Liverpool are aiming for, by scoring all their goals this late. It's never happened before. Very unlikely to happen now. No one needs to ask this question. We know the answer. No.
I'm on the edge right now because...
And by the way, every Liverpool fan knows this. Every Liverpool fan knows this. And they're not bitter about it. They're not angry about it. They're just enjoying the moment. Let's go back to my man here.
For large parts of that game, I'm looking at Liverpool, I'm saying this team is so overrated. They're disappointing defensively. They conceded another 2 goals. Okay, deflections, who cares? Still conceded another 2 goals. But yet, offensively...
So look at that there. Just break it down, otherwise we forget bits. So overrated. So the champions of last year, a team that has not lost a single game this season, that has a championship mentality and never say die attitude, which hasn't clicked into gear yet. So overrated. Overrated by whom? What are people saying? No one's saying this Liverpool team is the greatest side to ever grace football. No one's even saying it's Liverpool's greatest ever team. So where is this overrated nature coming from? They're predicted as one of the favourites for the Champions League and the favourites for the Prem. But it is marginal. It's not like they're the clear favourites and nobody else can touch them. Nothing about the rhetoric surrounding Liverpool can make them overrated. It is such a ridiculous comment. And then he says, I don't care the goals were deflected and the goals were lucky. They still conceded. The most ridiculous analysis you have ever seen in your life. It doesn't matter that the Atletico got back into the game with fluky goals. I'm still going to criticise Liverpool anyway.
They've not yet hit full cylinder. I mean, they're kind of in like, I don't know, second, third gear right now offensively. Not much from your main attacking players in this game today, and that's a bit of a concern.
Because the thing with scoring late goals like that is it sort of goes both ways. You get a tremendous amount of confidence from it, belief that you can always find a way to win, but also there is that weight and that pressure that comes from having to do that time and time again and eventually get found out. I mean, look at the game against Burnley at the weekend. If it wasn't for a fairly fortunate penalty decision, they wouldn't have won that game.
Look, and they go on and talk about that. Great. But if you notice, they share that. That's the clip that goes out. Okay. Well, from my side looking on, the outside looking in, they mentioned being found out. They mentioned they haven't reached full cylinder yet. Where's the opinion? And where is the facts, the stats, or the view to back it? Nothing was even said here. And that is the craziest part about all of this punditry regarding Liverpool. No one's making a claim. I would respect it more if he said, I think they're being overrated. They haven't clicked yet. They're getting lucky. And I don't think they're going to get much better this season. I feel they're going to concede lots of goals because they didn't buy the right centre-backs. I think their new full-backs are not good enough defensively in Frimpong and too young in Kirkes. I think they've created themselves a problem with Ekitike and Isak, where neither is going to feel like the main guy, and it's going to cause disharmony. I'd prefer it if they actually backed it up with an opinion. So, Liverpool are overrated. What are you basing it on? Well, they just haven't got into full gear yet. Well, then they're not being overrated, then, are they? You can't say they're being overrated based on what people think they'll do out the entirety of the season, and then look at a small sample size where you're admitting they haven't hit top gear and saying that makes them overrated. No, my friend, that makes you premature. That is premature ejaculation, if ever I've seen it, in relation to a footballing opinion. They're overrated. They're no good. They're lucky. Why do you think that is? Oh, just because they haven't found their top gear yet. No talk on will they find their top gear? When will that happen? Will it cost them points? There's no analysis in there. And I think Liverpool fans would respect it. I think football fans would respect it if they turned around and said, I think they're overrated and I think they're getting lucky. And I think it's going to get worse. I think at some point they're going to be found out and they're going to start dropping points because defensively they're all over the place. Counter-attacks hurt them. X, Y, and Z. Especially these ex-pro footballers and these ex-coaches, give us some detailed analysis. But instead, everything is rage bait, innuendo and open-ended. It's they're overrated and they're lucky, but they haven't hit full steam yet. But what are you actually saying then? What is the point of putting that out to millions of people other than to try and wind up Liverpool fans and give some kind of banter to rivals to throw at them for you to make more pieces on? It's the banter economy again. And I think this is what's partly killing our game. It's taking the joy away from football. People are just... I think a big part of football that I grew up loving was the conversation. Going to school, playing out with your mates, at work, with your friends, having a beer, on the train on the way to a night out, whatever it may be. In the car, going to work. Talking football, for me, is every single bit as important as the game itself. I can't speak for other nations because I don't live there, but in England, it's such an important part of our culture. And I had a good friend of mine, he moved to America, from America to the UK, and he was here about 6 months. And I said, what is it about I said, do you like it? He said, I love it. So what do you like the most? He went, there's loads of good things. He said, but what I love the most is I've always watched football. And he said, but where I live, none of my family liked it. Most of my friends didn't like it. No one at work watched it. So I never got to speak about it. It was, I'd watch it, I'd go online and whatever else, but I couldn't talk to anyone. I went, here, I can get in a taxi and say, do you watch the game last night? And they did. I can be in a bar. I could be with friends from work. I can talk to my in-laws. He said I can just randomly start talking to somebody about football and the conversation is there. And I think this kind of punditry, coupled into the banter economy, is going to kill that, because everything is about one-upmanship. Everything's about, can I throw an innuendo and something open-ended out there that may never come to fruition, and we'll just, it's a bit like a time capsule. I'm going to throw it out there and bury it, and then maybe if they don't come good, I can come back and say, look, I told you I was a genius. But you're not even making a point. And I think people can respect opinions that end up being wrong when you at least explain why you think it. You put it out as a frank opinion, and if it goes wrong, you can address why you got it wrong. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. I think another element to this is people are so scared to be wrong. So if he says, I think Liverpool are overrated, this is why I think they won't win the Champions League this year, and they end up winning it, I might ruin my credibility being wrong. So I'll say half of it, and then leave the door open for Liverpool being good. That way I can't be wrong. It's pitiful. It's really pitiful for me. But I do think this Liverpool agenda is a joke. I do think these lies that they've been lucky and they're going to be found out are a lie maybe, but at absolute best, they're an extreme exaggeration of the situation that's going on. Last night, Liverpool were the better team by a country mile. They conceded a lucky equaliser, and they conceded a goal that shouldn't have stood, and they still went and got a third. And if we want to go by luck, how lucky were Atletico for not conceding two attempts to hit the post? You're not applying that same luck logic in the other direction. And that, for me, is the frustrating element in the entirety of this conversation. But as ever, look, your views, your opinions matter to me the most. I really can't wait to read them, or read as many of them as I can. Please sub and subscribe, but also check out my main channel, the Football Terrace. On the homepage of this channel, you'll see it, or just search the Football Terrace if you haven't heard of it already. Go and give that a sub as well. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you soon. Peace.